Okay, folks, we're back. We back at the ATL. This is the Mic is Hot. I'm DJ Thomas, my main man, Big Time on the other side. We were talking about the Atlanta Falcons season finale. Just want to remind you guys, you can pick up our show on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, TuneIn Radio, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. And you can also email us at themicishot@yahoo.com. I'm DJ Thomas, and Big Time is my main man. Big Time, we back on the second half of the season finale. Let's jump back in right where you left off at.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, when you look at everything in its totality, the biggest reason we can put on right now, there are always a number of reasons that one can name when their team didn't make the playoffs. But you have to go to the glaring ones when they are there. And the glaring one here was that defense, that decision that Dan Quinn made was to relinquish the calling of the defensive plays by himself. And then after that, this team, and number two, the team rallied around him. They knew or felt Dan Quinn's job was on the line. They rallied around him and played and kept him. And I think Arthur Blank would have perhaps did the team a disservice if he had replaced this man at this particular time.
So I mean, just give me maybe in a short, brief definition. I know you probably laid it out right now for me. I got that. The main reason you think Arthur Blank brought this coach back is because the players like him, because the fans don't like him, and the fans buy the season ticket. Or do you think it was something that Dimitrov told him to make him make a decision? I mean, I'm still clear. Just give me what you think his main reason for bringing him back.
Well, I listened to this press conference, and I'll tell you, he named three reasons why. One was the turnaround that the team made. He mentioned that the turnaround that the team made. He thought that the team did a great job in turning around. And number two, he did throw in there that turnaround was made with regards to the team rallying around their head coach, who they believe was not the fault that they where they were at. So now, if you can extrapolate from that he liked it, the players liked him, if the players stepped their game up and the coach turned it around to the degree that they can understand better, that could have been it. The third reason he used was he said he is now going to have Rich McKay running the team, and Arthur Blank, Dan Quinn and Dimitrov is going to have to report to him. He said, what they got to do to this thing? He said, well, he put the stadium building in there as part of what this man was preoccupied with over the last 5 years, which is Rich McKay I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He said, right into 5 years, Rich McKay, I got to credit him for help putting the stadium together, and that was a big part of their plan, and this year it was finalized if the way he would. Well, so what is he saying? Part of this whole staff includes Dan Quinn, Rich McKay, and Dimitrov.
Okay, tell you what I'm gonna do. Let me play this little piece of Arthur Blank's presser here from the Falcons. Okay, hang on 1 second.
Yes, sir. That's a very good point. If you can bring that in, that's beautiful.
Well, good morning, everybody, and
go ahead.
Thank you for being up here on short notice. I appreciate that, and while I have you all here, I want to thank you again for coverage really throughout the year of your team, the Atlanta Falcons, and coverage of the NFL. You guys do a wonderful job. Guys and gals do a wonderful job. And thank you very much for that effort and what have you. We really appreciate it. So you've all seen the announcement and all had a chance to read it, so I'm not going to reread it or repeat it. I would just say to you that, the last 2 years, this year and last year, certainly have not been acceptable by any standard, I would say. Not to me, and I'm a steward for the team. I'm a custodian of the team, custodian of the franchise, and I take that very seriously and take my responsibility to fans very seriously and my responsibility to our sponsors very seriously, and our players as well, players and coaches as well. So However, when I look at our record over the long haul, and it's important, I think, to take a second to just reflect on that. And since we were fortunate enough to draft Matt Ryan in 2008, we've added, great players around him over the years. And the team has been fourth in the NFC in terms of wins and seventh, actually, in the NFL in terms of wins. So, we've done what we've wanted to do over that period of time, 11-year period of time. We've had a sustainably winning organization. Not so much the last couple of years, and I understand that, very clearly.
Okay. What he basically said is that he's not, basically what we said he wasn't going to repeat it. He made the decision to keep Dan Quinn as the head coach and Thomas Dimitroff. And
but if you let me interject this. I listened to the whole interview, and in the depth of the interview, you put on the beginning of it, which he gave it is he went into 3 reasons why he decided to retain this man.
Uh-huh.
And I named them specifically. He said the job he did to turn it around, the players lacking him, rallying around him. He didn't use the word lacking, but rallied around him. And the third thing was the overall of what Rich McKay have done with part of this. In other words, he didn't want to break up the whole. It's just like something you said in a conversation we had. This thing is bigger than just the Falcons winning and losing, or the Falcons for Arthur Blank. Arthur Blank look at the stadium, and that whole thing is part of what this whole thing is. And you say, how does that got to do with the Falcons? Well, a part of the whole stadium thing got to do with what is part of the Falcons. And what is part of that is Rich McKay. Rich McKay is his guy in that area.
Uh-huh.
And Rich McKay liked working with these guys. And when you look at, that's what he just said. Think about what he just said. I'm going to throw that in there and think about that. The Falcons have been the 7th winningest organization over the last 10 years. They've been the 4th over the last, he said 4th in terms of something he mentioned before. They've been winning games. Now, over the last 2 years, they have been horrible. Because last year, the year they won the Super Bowl, the year they lost the Super Bowl, the next year they came up and won 10 games, lost 6, and won the playoff and lost 1 game. The second game in the playoff, to be specific.
Uh-huh.
Well, the last 2 years, they have lost. They had injuries. They lost last. With no reason, no name a reason, but they lost last year and they lost this year. So you can't just here's the basis of why he kept this. Another reason. He's quoted the term continuity. Continuity is this. You can't have a sustainable winning formula when you constantly changing. You can't do that.
So you feel that that's the reason that he's not changing, because right now we are the corrections, the problems that we had early in the season have been corrected, and also he wanted to try to keep this team together because he see a lot of what's the word for it?
Potential.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. And if you change it right now, when you look at it, you say, well, that's what I'm saying. You can't change it right now. Now, guess what? He signed this Rich McKay, not Rich McKay, but Dimitroff and Dan Quinn had already been signed before this year. They had already been signed through 2022. Okay.
I guess that's another reason he already got their money. I guess that's another reason you wouldn't make a change.
Right. They already signed the 2022. That means next year and the following year. They're already there. So if you go in there and make that change, the money's don't factor to him. If Dan Quinn, I can't say it again, if this team had played the same way in the second half as they played in the first half, I don't believe Dan Quinn will be our coach. But his teams have shown a miraculous turnaround. It was like, wow. And they ain't beat no fluke. They beat some fluke teams, if you will. We can't look at Carolina as a fluke because we beat them twice. They are division. We split between the Tampa, and we beat New Orleans one time, and we beat the 49ers. Now, we beat Tampa. We beat Jacksonville. Every win is a good win, no matter who it is. But we've got a lot of our wins in our division. You can't just go in there and tear that up when everybody's when the thing is moving in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at it, though, damn, right now we're moving right. Want to look back and say, why did you make the change? Unless you just want to go and do. When you look at, let me give an example, the change that Carolina made. Well, you said, why would Carolina make the change and they had a bad season, and for last year they had a pretty decent one? Well, guess what? You look at the Carolina Panthers and say, guess what? There is a question about the future of Cam Newton. There is a question, and there's also one can halfway say that Cam Newton probably have played his last game in Carolina.
Yeah.
Well, so I ain't talking about Carolina. I use an example. Look at the Falcons on the other hand. We got a solid quarterback, the best receiver in the game, and look at what those guys have did this year. Julio Jones and Matt Ryan have made record-breaking statistics this year. Julio today, I think he's the first receiver ever to get so many 1,400 yards a year in the quickest player ever to get to 1,400 yards consecutive years. I think this is 6 years he's done that. Matt Ryan, a 50,000 yard pass. Now, you say all that means nothing because we ain't won. But that shows continuity. That shows a level of stability at the core of your team. And if you break that up by saying, I'm going to bring a new coach in here, well, you said that coach can't change that. Yes, he can change that. Because now Matt and these guys, the defense and everybody got to learn a whole new system. They got to learn a whole new everything.
Right.
Once you take away the emotions of the law.
I'm feeling you big time. I feel where you're coming home. I feel where you're coming from. And I understand what you're saying. And it makes a lot of sense. And I guess sometimes I didn't look at it from the point that you're looking at. I still don't like I agree that there needs to be some continuity in the team, but I just don't like the decision that Dan Quinn's a head coach. I think in the last 2 years he's shown me that he's not a head coach. So for me, I just don't like that. And I think a lot of the decisions that's made on this offense, it's in Dan Quinn's hand. I don't think this team will go anywhere with him. That's just my opinion. I mean, I'm not saying this change because we got to change.
You have a lot of evidence to back that up, and a lot of people feel the way you feel. I would love to see the Falcons do this. If I had to still say make a change, I would love to see the Falcons, and they still might do this, even though I doubt it. I would love to see the Falcons, just like they moved up Raheem as the defense coordinator. I would love to see the Falcons go out and search for them another offensive coordinator.
I agree with that.
I read somewhere today. Funny. I read somewhere today that the Falcons would be wise to look at the offensive coordinator for the LSU Tigers.
Okay.
The LSU Tigers. The LSU Tigers, who probably will win the national championship in college football, their offensive coordinator run the same type of offense that the New Orleans Saints run, under the same schemes, on the same kind of guys. I'm not saying get him, but go out there and say, Cutter, we respect what you've done as a coach. We want somebody else. Because the offense, as I've seen, even though the offense did fairly well and they got better as the season went on, to me, the offensive play calling is still somewhat predictable.
Right. Well,
and I saw it today, go ahead.
But I like what I'm seeing with the with the teams like the Saints. I mean, I'm not a Saints fan, but I like what I see in what they're recruiting right now. They're even looking at Antonio Brown, from my understanding that he's been training with those guys. If they get him for the playoff, that's going to make them put them in a really good position. I just think that some other things that the Falcons need to do, and it all falls on the head coach and the general manager. We need to start making some changes. We need to pick up another quarterback, a decent backup quarterback. Decision made last year. The decision made last year to bring in. Hold on, let me finish. The decision they made last year to bring in Matt Schaub as a backup. They signed him before they got a chance to see what was out there. I'm not really big on drafts, but there's a lot of free agents out there at the end of the season next year that we have an opportunity to pick up. You need to put a team together to put this team where we need to go. That's what the Saints are doing right now. We need to get a backup quarterback, a good backup quarterback. We need to get another running back. We need a couple of good running backs, and because right now we're really not moving the ball. Most teams know if you don't have a running game, you really don't have anything. It makes your pass game a little more difficult. You got to pass more, and teams know that you're going to pass. It makes it it makes it easy for them to defend you. So it's a few things that we really need to. And it all comes back to coaching. I mean, players are doing a great job and they're hustling their butt off. Julio Jones talked to the team and they're saying it's not on the coach, it's on us, but it's on the coach. It's on the coach. You can't fire a team, but you can fire the coach. And all that you said, and a lot I agree with you on, but I just do not believe that for this team to win a Super Bowl, that it's going to be very hard to do with this coach. And like I said, we got to get an offense coordinator. A lot of times, if you get the right people around you, it will make you look good. And Raheem had made him look much better the second half of the season than he did himself. And I agree with you on maybe getting another offense coordinator to come in and to shake things up a little bit more, because they're trying, but it's just not happening. I'm not going to hold you all night on this subject, and I want to jump over to
let me add one other thing.
Okay, all right.
Did you see the game? I didn't see the game today. I saw a large portion of it. I left the second, part of it. But anyway, you know how the game ended today.
Yeah, the Falcons scored on a interception in overtime.
A pick six.
Pick six. That was to be expected from Jameis Winston. Did you also know that Jameis Winston?
Well, don't matter if it's expected from Jameis Winston what. But listen, why I brought that up was that pick six was a staple of how well the defense have turned around since the break. And the end of the season on that note, it was the most exciting win that the Falcons had this year besides the win that they played against the 49ers. That 49ers game, I didn't see that game, but the way Julio drove the ball down the field on the last drive and Julio punched it in and they beat a powerhouse team and scored a good number of points. Why am I bringing those two things up? It's an indication. You got to look at those things. Seasons are not always won or lost in one season. A team is defined over a collection of seasons. And what the Falcons did last year, they said, we're going to bring a whole different coaching staff in here and center around what this head coach we have here. And it didn't work in the first half of the season. After some major changes were made, they got it right and they played better. Now, does that mean they're going to play much better next year? I don't know, nor do you. But you can only say this, and you can say it with truth, that they ended the season on a good note. They ended the season on a high note.
They did, and I would agree with you on that. They ended the season on a good note this year. And that's all I can say. That's all I can say good about
and
them.
And guess what else? Dan Quinn hopefully will go into this preseason with the idea that, wait a minute, I can't go in here and come on see, I think part of the Falcons mindset over the last 2 years was, 2016, we went to the Super Bowl. We got a very good team. So they kind of went on the fact that they thought they were.
You set the expectation very high. The year you took the team to the Super Bowl, and we haven't lost a lot. We still have Julio Jones. We still have Matt Ryan. You set the expectation mighty high. And the thing was, this year was Super Bowl or bust. And we couldn't even make the playoffs. And that looked very bad. And the fan base, based on the participation of fans in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, you can look on the TV. You don't have to be there. You can see all the empty seats in there. And the way it look right now, you're not going to see much different. This team has got to prove to their fans that they're a different team than they were last year. Because I believe next year. What are you saying?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Next year, I'm not expecting a whole lot more out of this team. I don't know. I don't know what the schedule is next year. I don't know who we play first, but
I don't know anything.
We have to.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
Go ahead. I'll let you talk.
Well, I'm just saying with the bottom, I'm going to add to about the Bucks in the seat. Falcons start winning next year. So the Falcons came out of the gate 6-0 next year. Or in their first 8 games, they 8-1. Or they first say they won instead of 1-7 this year. Next year they 7-1. that stadium will be full before you know it. Because people still have a mixed view about they got a wait and see type of attitude now. The season, there are a lot of angry fans right now, to include you and I, because we had high expectations and the Falcons didn't live up to it. Well, we got a wait and see attitude, and I do too. I'm not disagreeing with what your approach is, but I believe that when I look at from the 2016 Falcons Super Bowl year, they have lost a key guy in Shanahan. They haven't recovered for it. This year the defense hit 2 jobs that Dan Quinn took. They fixed that. We need to continue to build. This team is still a very good team. I just threw in what I told you, what they cleared up some money. They went in and redid Matt Ryan's contract because they said there's a how they were able to redo it. They said part of what he got was some incentives and bonuses based on certain things that he had to do on the field. Well, they said those things didn't happen, so that's cleared up some money. That was part of his contract, that if you don't meet these certain guidelines, this money come back to us. The Falcons now got $12 million, and the season ain't just over today. So Dick Beasley's out of here. We got Freeman's probably gone. There got to be some reshaping.
And that was another bigger part of a lot of Dan Quinn promises that he's going to change Big Beasley, and he didn't really change him. Even though did he have a sack today? I don't know. I'm not sure. Did he make a sack?
I don't know. I don't think he did. But I would have hoped, and I believe that Dick Beasley is gone, because you can't give that man that much money and he's not producing. I believe Trufant is gone. I believe Freeman is gone. These are 3 big paid guys that's out of here. So we're going to clear up some money, hopefully. And I hope with Rich McKay, with Arthur Blank said, Dan Quinn and Dimitroff is now reporting to Rich McKay. Now, Rich McKay is a businessman. He's the president of the Falcons. But he understands, I would hope that would put them in a situation and say, wait a minute, we got to revamp. This thing is still coming together, people. Let's just give it another year. Now, I would hope this is what happen. If Dan Quinn come in here next year and start out 1-7, yeah, you need to get rid of him after the 1-7. Don't even wait.
Okay. Okay. Hey, Big Time. You have talked probably most of the show, and I've given you the opportunity to plan it out. You've had some great stuff. You came out with information about why we should keep Dan Quinn, and I asked for that, and you gave it to me. But all that's good as long as it works. We got a chance to hit the reset button next year and start free. But I'm going to watch this team, and I'm going to talk about this team. You and I are going to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about it myself, starting draft. I know draft doesn't mean a whole lot the first year, but I want to see what direction are they going in. I want to see what kind of people they're getting for this team and what they're doing, what coaches changes are being made, because all that comes together and tells me what direction they're going in to change, to find I get ate up on my words. That tells me the direction that this team is going in for 2020. And right now, I'm not happy. The fans are not happy. And we need to see that the Falcons are going to make some change. Arthur Blank spent a lot of money. He got a lot of faith in Rich McKay to go in and make sure these guys do what they're supposed to do. Hey, I'm going to give them a chance. The Falcons are my team. A lot of people listen to me talk and say, yeah, this guy's not a Falcon fan. Yes, I'm a Falcon fan. I am. But I'm disappointed now because of where my team is. From what happened this year made me go out and pick up a second team in the NFL, because I like football. I enjoy watching football, but I enjoy watching teams win. Now, second team means if they're playing my team, of course, my team's going to be number 1. And my second team is the Baltimore Ravens. And speaking of the Baltimore Ravens, I want to hit a little bit on the NFL picture right now, on the playoff picture, if you don't mind. And let's kind of let people know where we are and what's going to happen here. And one thing we both can agree on is that we're not pulling for the Saints in our division to go to the Super Bowl, neither win the Super Bowl. So big time. Have you got your? Can you pull up your bracket there and kind of look at look at the playoff bracket?
I don't have it. I'm not on the computer,
Uh-huh.
and I can't look at it while I'm on my phone. But I do know it enough to give some word information on it.
Okay, let me kind of start. Let me start off there, and then I'll kind of let you know what we're looking at, and you can kind of feed in with that. Since the AFC is pretty much already done right now, there's another game played tonight. The 49ers are playing the Seahawks right now. Actually, I got it on right now. I'm kind of watching this. It's still 0-0. In the AFC, we got the Baltimore Ravens, the first seed. They're 13-2. Kansas City going to be the second seed at 12-4. The wild card beneath both these teams to get a bye. Am I correct, Big Time? Both these teams to get a bye.
Yes.
And the wild card team that will be played next week. You have the 6th seed team, the Tennessee Titans. They're 87 is going to play the number 3 team, the New England Patriots. I'm glad to see that because, man, I tell you, we wasn't pulling for New England. We're not big New England fans, so we wasn't being. I'm going to finish this division, and I'm going to let you comment on that. And also, you got the number 5 seed team, the Buffalo Bills. They're 10-6. They're going to be playing Houston, there, which is the number 4 seed team, which is 10-5. What do you think about that, the AFC matchup?
Well, let me ask you a question before I comment. Did the Steelers win today? They didn't make it in.
The Steelers, no, they lost.
Okay.
They played. Who they played?
So, well, I think one thing you got to keep in mind is that that bye is good and bad. It's more good than bad, but it is a bad in there. Why? The good is you resting your team. You are going to play all of your games at home. Okay. But the bad is sometimes that 2 weeks layoff can cause a team to lose their edge.
Uh-huh.
Keep in mind what I just said. It's good if some team keep playing, and it's sometimes always good for a team to get rest, and especially if they got some injuries.
Mm-hmm.
But why am I bringing that up? That is where the Baltimore Ravens sit, because they finished 14-2.
Uh-huh.
They got the home field. That's a plus for them, but they're going to be sitting idle for 2 weeks.
But they're going to be playing at home. I think that's a big thing for them.
Well, like I said, that's true. They're going to have the home field, but that sitting, it has hurt a lot of teams in that first week round back.
Yeah.
Over the years, it hurt a lot of teams, and we don't know. I don't care how good the Baltimore Ravens have played this year, and they have been the best team in the NFC. Only by 1 or 2 games now. When you look at from New England up to them, New England finished, I think, lost 3 games, and they lost 2.
Right. Well,
So
what happened in this case is that Tennessee will play New England and Buffalo play the Houston, and if the third week, like I said, they sit him today. They sit the quarterback from Baltimore today, and they say it'll be 3 weeks before he play again. So when they play again, they'll play the lowest seed team. So therefore, if New England is their 3rd seed, if New England wins over Tennessee, then they'll actually play New England in Baltimore.
Yeah. Well, that works out. That's what I'm telling you. So that's why that sitting could be a problem when a team have that. You know what I mean? Especially when you playing good, that sitting can cause you not to play as well because you broke the streak of playing good. So that's important.
Hold on. I'll stand corrected on that. No, if New England is the 3rd seed, so that means the 1st seed team will play the lowest seed team. Right now, Tennessee is the lowest seed team. So if Tennessee beats New England, which I don't know if that happened, Tennessee will play Baltimore in Baltimore.
Well, I'm just simply saying this, and why let me sum it up this way. I believe this in AFC will come down to a battle, however it plays out, between Baltimore, New England, and Kansas City.
You left out Buffalo, man. Buffalo been playing some ball this year.
Well, I don't see them being. I just don't see them. That game won't be played in Buffalo one way or another, and I just don't see that quarterback having the experience and that team having the overall experience to really go in and upset one of the 3 powerhouses in that conference.
Right.
Well, so I still think it's going to come down to Baltimore, New England, and Kansas City, or Baltimore, Kansas City, New England. I will still have to put my money on New England based on the experience, based on the youth of the Baltimore Ravens, and based on the youth and inexperience of the Kansas City Royals, Kansas City team. Chiefs. I just still got to put. Now, many of them put out there that New England obviously is down this year on the scoring side.
Mm-hmm.
Their scoring has dropped off lower than it has ever been, well, not ever been in a long time, particularly because they need a receiver. Even having picked up Sanu, he has not been as effective as they would have thought. They need a player that can stretch the field.
Well, I tell you what, I saw the New England game today, and they did not look good at all. Actually, they got beat by Miami, and I had all their starters playing. And I don't know if they just played that bad, or, I mean, Brady was the quarterback, Edmund was the receiver.
Weak.
So
they are weaker this year.
They are weak this year. They did not look good. So, I mean, it looks good for Baltimore. Now, Kansas City, on the other hand, Kansas City didn't look good. So you're right.
Yeah.
Even though Kansas City is number 2 seed.
When the playoffs start, and here's one of the things that's about New England. And I'm not tooting their horn. I don't like them. I want them to lose. But I got to take my heart and what I desire out of what I got to look at it with my head. This team know how to be in these type of situations. And they got the quarterback to be there. Here's what this team also has. Their defense is better than they ever, from all the Super Bowl they've won, their defense this year is better than it ever was to any Super Bowl they won. And here's another thing they do very well. They run the ball well.
Are you talking about New England? Are you talking about New England?
Yeah. New England.
Miami had won for 3 games, and they beat New England.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That win didn't make a difference in them. If that win had to change their positioning, I believe New England would have beat them. New England was set on not having home field advantage, and they were set in terms of, so that win, they run the ball. Sonny Michel, the former Georgia Bulldog running back, has been running the ball. Oh, my God, he's running the ball well. New England got a running game, something they haven't had in the Super Bowl they've won.
Right.
And their defense is great. They stop people. I don't look at what happened in the regular season, especially down the stretch like this. In this game that they lost today, that game meant nothing to them. It didn't change their positioning one way or another. And they wasn't going to go out there and hurt their guys up and beat their. The biggest drop-off of what New England needs or missing is a grunt. They miss a receiver like him.
They really do. And that's why I said I think that's going to be the difference in the New England team this year. Not having a Gronk or not having another power receiver. Edmonds the only receiver. I think that's affecting their play this year. Even though they're 12-4. This team, the way they played today, I know you said it's the last game. It really didn't matter. It didn't matter. It could have moved. They could have been a number 2 seed instead of a number 3 seed. So it would have mattered.
They still wouldn't have had. It was still they had to go on the. They would have had to play their first game.
No, if they would have been the number 2 seed, they wouldn't have had to play next week. Now they got to play next week. Yeah, it would have made a difference.
I think they want to play in a sense. It's just not that bad in the position. If you're not going to have home field, if this team know, here's what New England know. At some point, we got to go on the road to get to the Super Bowl. And I believe summing up, they're going to go on the road and beat Baltimore or Kansas City when they need to.
They're going to have to.
I really believe they're going to do it. They're going to do it. And when you say they don't have receivers, well, this man haven't had star receivers. Tom Brady haven't had star receivers in several years. He takes no-name receivers, and he so short, down low to the ground passes. He gets rid of the ball real quick. He's a very savvy guy, and Belichick is a defensive specialist. He knows what it takes to stop you.
Okay.
And I guarantee you, I just don't believe no one.
We got about 10 minutes left in this show. Let me jump over here to the NFC. Let me read off the NFC right now, then we'll go from there. This NFC is not complete till after this ball game. Actually, San Francisco has 3-0 over Seattle right now, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. But right now, the seeding goes as Green Bay has the number 1 seeding at 13-3. New Orleans has the number 2 seeding at 13-3. San Francisco has the number 3 seeding at 12-3. See, the Philadelphia Eagles have the number 4 seeding at 8-7. The Seattle has the number 5 seeding at 11-4, and Minnesota has it seeding at 10-6. Based on the score of this ball game, I need to see right now if the San Francisco 49ers win tonight, they will move to the number 2 seed based on the fact that the San Francisco played the New Orleans Saints in the regular season, and they both have the same record. So therefore, since they beat them in the regular season, that means San Francisco will have the number 2 seed, and the Saints will be the number 3 seed. Seattle, I think Seattle's staying in the same place. Seattle's 11-4 right now. If they lost, they'll be 11-5. So therefore, I don't think it will change their position. And based on what I see right here, right now, if the 49ers continue to win, they'll be number 2. They'll have a bye, and Green Bay have a bye, and Minnesota will probably end up playing the. They'll be playing the Saints, and Seattle will play the Philadelphia Eagles. What do you say on that?
Well, when I look at the NFC, it boils down to the top 3 teams, or as I use the same example in the AFC, will come down to the Green Bay Packers, San Francisco, and New Orleans. Those are the 3 best teams in the NFC. Now, the NFC does have 2 very other good teams that could make these games very difficult. One thing about the NFC, they are all good teams. The only weak team in the NFC to me is the Philadelphia Eagles. I believe they'll be one and done. But Minnesota is a very good team, and Seattle is a very dangerous team.
I don't know, big time. I tell you what, I watched Green Bay today, and they look kind of sloppy until the end of the ball game.
Oh, no. Don't count today. If teams did not have to win today, don't count how they played today. When hold on just a second. They have a 13-3 record. New Orleans have 13-3. In San Francisco, if they win, they'll be 13-3. If they wouldn't have won today, it would have put them guys back. They'd have been like a 3rd seed, so they had to win today. It wasn't a game that they didn't have to win. I mean, you are already in the playoffs, but then again, if you want the bye week, you had to win today. But go ahead. About?
I'm talking about the Green Bay Packers.
They won.
They did win, but if they would have lost, they
won.
Hey, listen, you said teams that it didn't matter. It didn't matter for them to win today. If they wouldn't have won, they'd have been a wild card.
I said correctly in that area, but I didn't believe that they would lose, and they didn't lose. And I say this: I believe that no one in the NFC, as I see them right now, unless this team plays differently in the playoffs, and they could because this is a first-year coach, and we don't know how they're going to react under the first-year coach in the playoffs. But I find it very difficult for any team to go up the Lambeau Field and going to have to beat them in that cold weather as we're going to get in January. It's going to be very difficult, particularly when you got a dome team of the New Orleans Saints, you got a dome team of Seattle, you got a dome team in Minnesota. All these are dome teams, and they're not going to be used to that elements outside, and that Rochers crowd up there. Now that may not mean nothing if this team in Green Bay don't play to the level that they have played all year. They got a very good defense, and they have played very scrappy and savvy this year. They run the ball real well. In fact, their running back have created broke a record in the NFL for the only running back to have the most touchdowns catching and running in one season.
Well, to add to something you said a minute ago, Minnesota and Philadelphia is used to the cold weather, so I don't think that's be a big deal for them.
But Minnesota plays a dome. Minnesota plays in a dome.
Yeah, but they used to cold weather.
But they're not outside. They're inside. A dome means you playing inside. The Minnesota has a dome. The only undomed team up in this NFC is the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't believe Philadelphia's going to do much. They're too injured. and they barely got in. Now that don't mean they may get hot and play and start playing well, but I just don't fear. I see Green Bay. I see it as a toss-up between Green Bay, New Orleans, and the San Francisco 49ers. Here's my thing about the San Francisco 49ers. They have a great defense.
Well, that's 1, 2, and 3. So I mean, I can understand that. I mean, I agree with that. It's 1, 2, and 3, just like in the AFC. You know. So I mean, but what team do you like? What team do you like?
But I like Green Bay.
You like Green Bay to win it all. You like Green Bay to win it all.
I see Green Bay to win it all. And I'm not saying it like I got a heart or hate against New Orleans. New Orleans don't play the same on the road. New Orleans is a dome team, so they got to go outside. And New Orleans got two glaring weaknesses that if you stop them in these 2 weaknesses, you got them in most parts.
What if they pick up Antonio Brown? What if they pick up Antonio Brown?
I don't know whether Antonio. I read some about that, and there's not a conclusion on that because there's some conversation that's running that Sean Payton has a problem with this dude's attitude. He's not coming up in there being well received by that organization. He was just trying out for them. And when you go out and get this guy, yeah, that will make them better. But what that told me by them trying to get this guy is a major problem they have. You shut down Thomas, you got them offensively. On the passing part, you shut down Kamari, you got them running the ball. You put pressure on Drew Brees, they got glaring weaknesses. And guess what else? Their defense does not play as well. Here's why I don't believe Seattle going to do nothing. Seattle a running back went down, and they have now went and picked up Marshawn Lynch. Really? You just more than likely ain't going to pick up no guy who's been out there sitting down, and he going to come in there and make that big of a difference.
Yeah, we're going to see tonight.
I don't see Antonio Brown making that much difference as he came in on New Orleans. I just don't see him making. Yeah, he could catch a touchdown here and there. One advantage that New Orleans has is they got Sean Payton on that sideline, and he know how to draw up plays that can beat a good defense. But you got to really New Orleans aren't the same team outside of that dome down there. They're just not the same team.
Got 3 minutes, count, man. 3 minutes. Go ahead.
I'm done. I'm done.
No, I'm just saying that we got 2 shows.
I like Green Bay. And I like San Francisco too because of their defense. But the concern I have with San Francisco, their quarterback and their offense is suspect. Galapagos, that quarterback they have, sometimes he make mistakes.
So you like in the NFC, you like Green Bay, which is the number 1 seed team, and you like who else? I
like New England.
No. So I'm saying in both divisions. I'm just trying to in the NFC. What 2 teams do you like?
I like Green Bay, and I like San Francisco.
Okay. San Francisco over New Orleans.
I like Green Bay and San Francisco. I don't like New Orleans because guess what? Even if New Orleans got to fly out to California. I
know you don't like New Orleans. I'm just saying, but you think they're not you don't think they're talented enough to win this ball game?
They're not positive because if you look at every time New Orleans score, now they scored 44 on Panthers today. Well, weak team. Look at every time New Orleans go up against a great defensive team, how they lose and how they get handled. Look at how. It doesn't matter how many. Right.
Point made. Run out of time. Point made. AFC again. The 2 teams you like AFC.
I like Baltimore and New England. And in the NFC, I like Green Bay, and I'm gonna toss up. I'm gonna put a toss up in NFC. I like Green Bay, San Francisco, and New Orleans.
So okay, you like those are 1, 2, and 3 anyway, pretty much. Okay, but let me ask you this: against who do you think will be in the Super Bowl together this year? What 2 teams in the NFC versus the AFC?
I like Green Bay and Patriots.
Oh my God!
I picked the Patriots. Here's what I picked.
They know how to win. It's hard not to pick. It's hard not to pick the Patriots though. But let me say this right quick, man, because we run out of time.
And I'm not just picking on the past. I'm picking on what I see. If they were up, I just told you already why I feel. I like the Patriots against whoever in there, Green Bay, New Orleans, or San Francisco. I don't want New Orleans, obviously, but here's what I predict. whoever is in that
Less
Super
than a
Bowl
minute.
against New England will beat them.
Okay,
New
let
England
me
will
give you
lose.
my picks right quick. I got less than a minute. Talk. 30
30
seconds.
Let me say last. I think New England will lose the Super Bowl this year
Okay, to Green Bay.
to Green Bay, or if the 49ers
Okay, come on,
get
quickly.
there.
I'm gonna run out of time. New England lose to Green Bay.
Yes.
Okay, I'll pick Baltimore, and I pick San Francisco. I think Baltimore will beat San Francisco in the Super Bowl. Point blank. That's the fact, Jack.
Okay, you keep that down. Keep that in note. We'll look at that. You said
Folks, the
Baltimore
mic is
to
hot
win
right now.
out.
We're going off the air right now.